Hey, people. Wow, a fourth episode in one day. This is one of the good days. Fine Music, episode 78. We've been just whizzing through my teenage years. And my friends are inspirational. They really are. But I actually had this one prepared because I didn't want to be unprepared today to bounce off. Yeah, what can I do to bounce off? I'm not gonna do it, but bands from Australia, I would highly recommend Pond. I could go there. I'm very tempted to go there. You heard of Pond?
How about Daddy Cool?
Yeah, that's the one you've been putting on your virtual playlist. I remember.
Yep.
But Pond, maybe I should talk about them. Yeah, because
Midnight Oil.
well, that's ancient history. Yeah, that's what's the 90s, 70s, 60s. I don't know what they're good. They're the 80s, right?
90s, yeah.
Oh. All right, so I'm doing a shift in midstream here. I'm going to go with Pond. I got inspired by Jim.
Oh, good.
Right. I'm going to do it. I'll do it. Okay. Throwing out the other thing. I'm going to do Pond because for some reason they're known but not known well enough. So I'm going to bring up my media player. Share screen. Which is set to the band I was going to do. I was going to do the Sharks. Heard of them? No, that's pretty obscure. But
Aussie band?
I think I can make these two tie together. I'm going to tie it together, both Pond and Sharks. The combination no one has ever thought of before, right? Pond Sharks.
Yes.
If you're a fan of a band and you're really a fan of that band, you start looking for offshoots, especially if the band is broken up. And so one of my favorite bands is Free.
Okay.
But they broke up pretty quickly, right? Everybody knows Paul Rodgers went on to form Bad Company. And Paul Kossoff, unfortunately, had an early death. Recorded some juicy gems before he died. And Andy Fraser, the bassist, he really gave it a go when it came to continuing to make music. First, he formed a band called Sharks. I think it was in 1973. And unfortunately, he only stayed with them for the first album. They carried on another album without him. The album with him is called First Water. A lot of tasty tunes on it. Those are the first 9 songs here. A lot of tasty tunes on here if you like your blues rock, especially if you like an extra bluesy. There's a lead singer by the name of Snips, who has a marvelously gravelly voice, just deliciously gravelly. And yes, I would point out the songs Follow Me, Old Jelly Roll, and Broke a Feeling. Spectacular songs. But then Andy Fraser left, but they carried on without him to do an album called Jab It in Your Eye. Ooh. Now there's a title that's really going to just get people to want to buy that album, huh? Jab It in Your Eye. And that album wasn't as good without the Andy Fraser bass on it. It was definitely a bass weak album, but it still had Snips singing and still had a couple of good ones. Media Player took away my ratings, but I remember Sun Beat Down and Revolution of the Heart are very good. And there's the politically incorrect Kung Fu, where he's singing about his wife digs Kung Fu. Yeah. But Sun Beat Down is wonderful. Baby Shine a Light might make think of other Shine a Light songs, but it's an original song. So, there's some tasty things there. And of course, after that, Andy Fraser formed his own band, the Andy Fraser Band, which only made a couple albums. And he was basically trying to find singers who sounded like Paul Rodgers at that point, trying to recapture some past glory. That didn't happen. And then he reinvented himself in the 80s. I think it was 84, came out with an album that was it sounded totally like an 80s album, disgustingly 80s. He just sold out completely trying to have a hit. nothing like blues rock whatsoever, just 80s pop. Oh my God. And he unfortunately got an illness after that and passed away. So enough about him. We'll get to another offshoot band. Head to the P's. Not that far to the P's. Here we go. The media player loads. Can you see that I've changed bands here?
Yes.
Good, good. All right, so this band is called Pond, and they're an offshoot of TAME IMPALA. You might have heard of TAME IMPALA, I don't know, but they were pretty big this decade, this past decade, really, the 10s. And the musicians in the band formed their own band called Pond, and they rock harder than TAME IMPALA does. And they're very charismatic, especially the lead singer, really short guy, but very charismatic. I saw them at a small club in downtown LA about 5 years ago, and it was just a wonderful show. They put on a really good show, and they're a really good band, and they're pretty prolific. I would recommend Beard Wives Denim for a first foray into Pond. Oh, my ratings are still there for that one. You can see I got some 4 stars, and I got 6 4-star songs on there. That's a lot, because I am loath to get 4 stars, but these are really good. The song that turned me on to this band was Moth Wings. It rocks and it grooves, and it's just better than TAME IMPALA. Their newest album is called 9. And they always have a couple of songs that get great rotation on YouTube, if I can use the word rotation. I think the earliest album is called Frond. Got a couple songs they're using in their live act still. Betty Davis, Will You Come Down? Will Come Down. Hobo Rocket is the follow-up to Beard Wives Denim, and it's a really good album, but not as good. It's got 3 4-star songs on it for me.
Oh, you got a 5 down there.
And I got a 5 on Midnight Mass. Wow, I got to recheck that. That could be a boo. But I mean, they have some songs that I really like a lot. I mean, the album that sealed the deal for me was the one that came out after that, called Man, It Feels Like Space Again, when they got in touch with their psychedelic vibe. And so it has a song on it called Man, It Feels Like Space Again. It's an 8-minute song. Wonderful, wonderfully psychedelic, cosmic, and it still rocks. And it's got some strange lyrics. The video is even stranger. You check out the video on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. And there's some really good solid songs they do in concert, like Zond. It's a fantastic song. I got a Sessions album. I'm not sure if that's a legitimate release, but yeah, something's going on in my ratings there. The weather got 5 stars. What's going on? No. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my ratings, but maybe I punched a finger. Anyway, there's only 2 more albums to talk about. Tasmania came out in 2019. Really good album, really good album. They have 1 song on there, Goodnight PCC, really good. Some others too. And then in 2017, that was the one after. I'm getting all confused now. But this album, I thought it was going to be their breakthrough, because they had some songs on there like 30,000 Megatons, Pay Me Silver. Really good. And apparently I like AB. I gotta check these ratings. I don't know, 5 stars for AB. I almost never ever get 5 stars. It's got to be a finger boo-boo or something. Anyway, so bottom line, if there's a band you like and they broke up, you can still try to follow the wreckage to see if there's anything worth checking out. And for me, it was definitely worth checking out Sharks, because I got introduced to a vocalist named Snips, and still that great Andy Fraser bass on that album, First Water by Sharks. I highly recommend it if you like blues rock and more emphasis on the blues. And then Pond is, I guess, alternative, right? Or indie, depending on where you download the music. And just it's a good groove. It rocks and interesting lyrics, and definitely a band worth seeing live. No clunkers in their show. Okay. That's what I had to say. So unless there's any further questioning, we will conclude episode 78 of Fine Music.
Nice.
Check out Pond if you like Tame Impala. I mean, you should already know about Pond if you like Tame Impala. And for fans of Free or Bad Company, I definitely would recommend checking out Sharks. Just a different voice, but very good. Okay, thank you.